Welcome to another episode of More Than Dice. I'm Gonzo.
I'm Captain Mizzy.
I'm here.
That was probably the perfect timing.
That was the perfect timing.
And I'm John.
And that's John. Guys, welcome to another episode. We're on episode 258. We're going to be talking about 3D terrain, painting, building. We're also going to hang out and chill and just kind of work on stuff. I'm going to work on a few pieces that I have printed off for Warfare Weekend that is going to be going off to the detail team. But it's also going to be some testing because I want to test some stuff out. But we're just going to do it, have some fun. Before we do that, we got to get to the business. We want to thank all of our sponsors. We want to thank Midnight Heroes for making awesome chibi stuff. They will be having a new Kickstarter coming up pretty soon with new models that will be STL'd, so you can print off your new stuff. And I have not printed off any things. I need to when I say fix my printer, I have to do maintenance on my resin printer, change the FEP, and then I'll print it off, and then I'll show some of the miniatures from the Kickstarter. We want to thank Muse on Minis for hosting our files. Don't forget, if you go to Muse, make sure you use the code MORETHANDICE, all one word, and get 10% off anything you order. Guys, they'll be having a bunch of new stuff coming up that they'll be selling, so get ready for that. We want to thank Parabellum War Games, of course, for an awesome game of Conquest. If you like a good old rank and flank type thing, make sure and check them out. And they also have a discount code there. Can you guess what it is? You're right. More Than Dice, all one word. We want to thank Turbo Dork for bringing out awesome miniatures, or also miniature paints of a metallic and turbo shifting paint. Next week, I can say back, not next week, the week after, we'll be giving away a $50 gift certificate to Turbo Dork, so you can pick up some of their cool paints. And we want to thank our newest sponsor, Creaturecaster. Creaturecaster is now sponsoring, and we'll be doing a bunch of painting. We want to check out their Cuttlefish line of paint, which is mostly sketches and glazes. They do have some other ones coming out. And if you like, join me on Thursday, and you can watch me paint up Judgment models and using strictly their paints and their paints only.
It's funny how I grabbed one of each randomly out of the pile that someone wanted me to look at the colors.
Great. Nice.
I'll take it.
Yeah. And their paint line, I think it's like 212 paints. I can't remember.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of
paint.
paint.
The box and open it up. It's a lot.
It's a lot of paints. I've been using them, and I'm digging them. I really like their the Shining Glory right now. Besides, just paints and using it, is their mixing medium has been really, really, really good. So,
oh yeah, the Canada Goose Moose.
Yeah, the Canada Goose Moose. Whenever they bring that one out, of course, I'll be purchasing that just because it's a monster. It'll be a lot of fun.
I have no idea what you guys are talking to, but apparently I have to look this up.
Oh yeah.
You. So it's got a beaver head, a goose head, and a moose head.
And it's a monster in the Judgment.
Fantastic.
That is played on the board.
No one shares that shit. Look, fucking.
I have failed you. I am sorry. That one's on me.
On a Google search, it goes, "Did you mean camera?" I'm like, I didn't type half the letters fucking camera, bitch.
Hold on.
What makes you think I want camera, motherfucker?
Yeah, it's all the Canadian type animals put together, and
So it's a Canadian chimera.
yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Hopefully, somebody can get you a link to it. You can see it.
What's the tail like? You know what? Actually, the picture. I know.
Hold on.
I feel like it's got to be a beaver tail, though.
Somebody's got a picture of it somewhere.
I can already stat this up. Actually, you know what? Fucking Banyan's not on. I could fucking put this in my role-playing game.
Yeah, there you can.
Yes.
Which, talking about that, with the role-playing game, if you are part of Creaturecaster and you're part of their tribes on Mind Manufactory, not only do you get like 10 to 12 free miniatures, you also get a 5th edition module, part of their World of Reclamation line type thing. So you can check that out. I've been using their miniatures in our RPG Unity game. So
5th edition? I have that edition.
Yep.
I just bought them not that long ago.
All right. There's a link for you, John.
Okay.
Yeah, this thing is
And
amazing.
everybody else in chat.
Oh, the tail. Well, of course, it's the tail. They-
The painted picture makes it so much better.
Does it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it should have faded to proper goose coloring for the goose. I feel like they made like it looks good. Don't I think I did this at all, but I feel like it's a shame that it didn't have a proper goose coloring for the goose, and that's nightmare fuel. Thanks.
So now you got to order it and put it in the D&D game.
We don't use miniatures. That's like work. We're not playing D&D anymore. We're playing Genesis.
That's right.
Yep.
Which I guess,
Gabe.
like, everybody's flipping out over that because nobody can get the dice anymore. The dice are not being produced again.
I wanted to let you know, first off, people are making them on Etsy. Go on Etsy.
Oh, yeah.
Find them. They're not even bad priced. I have an angle, though. My one of my coworkers who plays a lot of D&D and all casts dice herself, so she's going to make me some.
Nice.
Yeah, so there's a lot of people that are having an issue trying to get it. I mean, don't get me wrong. The Genesis system is great, and it uses special dice, but...
And I don't know if I mentioned, there's a lot of good stuff on Drive-Thru RPG for it that's not expensive.
No. I mean, you're just going to go to Etsy and just buy them off of Etsy. Or buy, people that have made the dice, and hopefully they don't get in trouble for it since the dice are no longer. I mean, someone was saying, our good friend Ross was trying to buy dice, and like the eBay bid on those dice are going crazy, and I'm like, that's stupid.
No, Etsy, man, Etsy.
Yeah. So we're doing that. Guys, we also, do we have any shout-outs this week? What was the football player? Dave Brown?
Jim Brown.
Jim Brown.
Jim Brown.
Yeah. I'm not a huge football guy. You know
Football
me.
player, movie star,
Did?
civil rights activist.
Yep. I remember him being
Kind of a big deal.
kind of a big deal.
In somebody's world, I don't know who he is.
Yeah.
Look him up.
Yeah.
He's done a lot of good things. He was one of the greats. One of the hey, you're not gonna. We're upset that your movie career is cutting into your football time. It's like, fuck it, I quit. I'm gonna go do movies, and he did.
Yeah, he did. That's where I knew him more than anything because I mean, like I said, I wasn't a huge football person.
And his early political, and civil rights activism is great.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it was what,
Also-
89?
Yeah, he was getting there.
Yeah.
Also,
87.
87. I mean, it's getting up there.
I'm trying to figure out. There's one other like old wrestler who passed, who was like, the proto Hulk Hogan. Like, if he had hit later, he would have been Hulk Hogan.
Gotcha. I think I remember saying that somewhere too, but I don't remember.
Superstar Billy Graham. He was basically Hulk Hogan before Hulk Hogan, but like it was just the wrong time. If he'd hit 5 years, 10 years later, he would have been Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
But just the wrong time.
Let's get to the really important question. John, what are you drinking tonight?
Well, I have a cherry Coke mixed with cherry whiskey.
Nice.
And if I run out of that, I've got some more Dr. McGillicuddy's apple pie liqueur.
Nice.
Just in case.
Captain
Everyone.
Mizzy?
I have this wonderful bottle of water to stay hydrated because I have wrecked myself the last couple of days with my diet, and I need water. So,
I'm with you too. I'm drinking water also. So John's going to be getting tore up from the floor up, and we're going to be drinking water and staying hydrated.
Bet money I show up to work on time without a hangover.
I 100% agree that you will. Guys, we appreciate you being here. We appreciate you hanging out. We appreciate you coming in and doing things. If you see something, say something. If you can do something, do something. If you can't, find someone that will. Cheers.
Cheers.
cheers. high quality H2O.
Oh yeah, I gotta have another shot of that. Holy fuck, that's good. Man, I can feel my cells being rejuvenated already. Skin's getting more elastic, Pores are... Yeah, man.
That's why you fucking 50. Don't ever stop.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the paint cam.
Actually, I have a quick question for you.
$20.
Shit. So I saw where Midnight Heroes was getting ready to gear up for their big summer sale. Do we still have a discount code for them?
I don't know if it works right now or not. I know that they're redoing their structure. You could try it. It might still work. For everybody to know, Midnight Heroes is redoing their affiliate stuff and trying to do something different. And so he hasn't told us exactly what they're gonna do, so we're just gonna kind of wait and see and figure it out. Once he's done, we'll get to it.
I totally forgot to try and use it when I ordered my stuff.
Yeah.
But their summer sale by itself is pretty freaking good too. So even if it doesn't, you should definitely go check them out.
Yeah. All right. So I have a few pieces of terrain that I 3D printed.
A few. Okay.
These four little swamp-looking things were kind of the test prints type thing. I'm going to do some stuff with this just to test it out. These big ones are okay. That I'm flopping around. Are fine. I'll be using those. These I won't be using. They were just too small, too flat, and they just didn't do much.
I mean, why wouldn't you use them? It's still just extra terrain.
I should say that we are going to use them. They just weren't the template for me printing off. They were all this type.
Hey, Hellboop.
Hey, Hellboop.
Hey, Hellboop. I am going to redo these and raise them up and make them a little bit thicker because they're like this rock here and a rock here, and then.
If I may make a humble suggestion based off playability, don't. Like, I know we're about to talk about 3D terrain, but there are certain features you don't want to be too hard to put models on because at the end of the day, you still have to put models on shit.
Yeah. And here was the water one. And then this is going to be like a rough patch. So this one was really neat to do. I spray painted it with textured paint to give it this little, the rough little areas. And then spray painted it gray. And then I'm just going to dry brush it white. And it's a done-in type thing. So while I do that.
I can hear your printer in the background.
Can you hear it?
A little bit.
Can a little bit, yeah.
Okay. It's so my printer's gonna be running nonstop, so I apologize.
No, it's fine. I just
it's gonna, yeah. Usually you usually can't hear it, but oh well. So I'm gonna work on these. Grab my dry brush. Grab my white. Grab my awesome palette from Turbo Dork that I'm gonna put all my paints in. And move all my cuttlefish stuff.
Every time you mention it, I go and check to see if they got those back in yet.
No, they are not. I don't know when they're going to have them, but as soon as they are, I'm sure everybody's going to be clamoring to get it. Let me pop out this stuff.
Shame. I'm not sure how well these cuttlefish paints are going to work on a wet palette, but I'm going to find out at some point.
I have actually put them on a wet palette. I haven't had any issues with them. I usually been thinning them out a little bit more than.
I imagine the sketch paints will be fine, but I'm not sure about the glazes.
Yeah, well, the glazes are really thin, so should be.
Hence my point.
Yep.
Gonzos. I pick it up what I'm putting down.
So, there was a picture, and I couldn't find it, and I kind of irked about it because I wasn't able to get it. But there was a picture that came up on my Facebook feed of an old War Machine tournament. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, oh, my God. Why did we accept that? Why did we say that that was okay?
Well,
and
I know you're asking on a, rhetorical, but I'm an asshole, and I'm going to answer anyways. We did because the technicality of moving miniatures became more important than the theater of the mind of playing the game.
Yes.
It became a board game played on tabletop more so than a miniatures game. At that point, they sacrificed the prettiness and the theater of the mind, so to speak, of nice terrain for the technical accuracy of moving models to the, you know, nth degree of, precision that they could do.
And don't get me wrong. Certain things make it easier to put on the board.
It's a choice.
Yeah. But I mean, this table, like, of course, the zones were like fabric that was cut out. Some of the terrain was fabric that was cut out. You couldn't, I mean, I looked at it and I'm like, man, did we really, really play with that horrible looking table? And I was like, we did. And I was like, man, it just kind of, I mean, I wouldn't say I was embarrassed, but I understood. Is that the best way to put it?
No, you shouldn't be embarrassed. But so here's the thing: there's two ways to go about this, and I know we're going to get into the topic. And part of it is the easy way is to sort of fold the 2D terrain into what we're doing.
Yes.
So we did a lot of 2D terrain at the request of people because certain things, hills are a fucking pain in the ass. Yep. Water features are a pain in the ass if you don't make them pretty flat. So I don't necessarily mind those, but with forests, I like the idea of forest templates. The way that the rules work for forest in that game, the template was fine, but you should have trees to put on there and just move them out of the way, just so you keep that, still get that theater of the mind. Like, oh, there's trees and all that, so there's some 3D there.
I know someone that has like 100 trees.
I don't know that we ever needed to go with 2D buildings because you can move through them. Sure, you can't measure through them. There's going to be some problems every once in a while. The ideal we wanted to get to is we wanted to have every building to have a 2D template underneath it. So if you needed to measure something, you could move the building, measure, then put the building back.
Yeah.
But somewhere along the way, people got more interested in the playability over it looking like we're playing a fun game. To which my response is, play a board game.
Yeah, it just came to my mind. So right now, I'm trying to print up enough terrain so we have all 3D terrain at Warfare Weekend for every single game we play. Houses will all be 3D. Forest will have like the mat and then trees placed on top of it, which is perfect in my opinion because then you can move the trees off, move the trees back on.
You cannot reach the trees right now, or I would show you.
The 100 trees you've got sitting over there.
The 100,000 gajillion trees that I'm going to dry brush my life away. Yes.
Some engraved.
Gonzo the safe driver.
And then
I signed up for it. It's okay.
Water features. This is gonna be our water feature.
Kick him in the ding ding.
Kick him in the ding ding.
Yeah. So water features, I don't mind being flat because let's be honest, in real life, a water feature's flat.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of negative. It goes down. And
yes.
Flat means it's playable. And to a point, you have to. So, in the oeuvre of terrain, since I'm an old guy, I can talk about that. Back in my day when I started playing Warhammer 40K, we'd use whatever we fucking could. You open up the computer monitor, that fucking foam became terrain. We might even paint that shit. Books with stuff over it became terrain. So, and then you started building stuff. And when you're playing a skirmish level game, like a true skirmish level game, you can have terrain that's just fucking stupid. Because you don't need to stand in all the points. You have so little models on the table. It's okay if there are parts on that you can't stand on. But as we got to larger and larger numbers of models on the table, read 40K, terrain started becoming a problem because you can't put models there. And people are like, well, how is it fair that they can't put models there? I'm like, it's fucking terrain, dude. Fucking deal with it. I was blessed by a lot of my mid 40K stuff was at the GW Battle Bunker, so we had really good terrain in some cases. Fully detailed tables, unmovable terrain for the most part, but just awesome. There's one some kind of Normandy table that was beaches into early trenches and all. That table was great. Was it super playable? No. Did it matter? No, it didn't matter. It was great. And then we, went into that sort of hybrid bit, and then it sort of just became all 2D because Legion mentioned 2D terrain is great because I have a pack in my backpack with my War Machine stuff.
Oh yeah.
It's like I could break out anywhere. You give me a proper 4x4 table, we can play some War Machine.
Yeah.
And nothing wrong with that. But at some point, that became the norm rather than an outlier. And that was sort of the thing because, I mean, let's be honest, though. Given... I'm going to call people out. Not anyone by name. Given the state of top-tier War Machine play of, shit like models not even fucking glued to their fucking base.
Oh my God.
Much less painted. It shouldn't be a surprise that we got there because those guys were all interested in it. War Machine sort of sold itself. And I know I'm digging on War Machine right now. That's sort of where we started. No, nothing against the guys there in case they're listening. Love you guys. Make a better game. But, it became playability over theater of the mind. That became the important part. And that's sort of where we lost it. And honestly, they bought into it at Privateer Press. They were catering to their number one demographic, which is understandable. And that's why it sort of evolved the way it did. But, there's always a middle ground that we should have been pushing for. Like, we always did that at our local store, at Drop Zone Games, when we were doing a bunch of War Machine Hordes. We did full 3D terrain with 2D backing it up. If you had a tree template, you had some trees to go on it. Water template's fine. Hills, not a lot you can do. Hills have always been a problem. Because you have to get that balance between it looking like a hill and it being playable.
Correct. Which I believe I solved that with the hill that I designed, but we got to test it out some more.
We'll see. So, before I go further, Art of Michael Lavoie says, a big deal for me with terrain is portability. Anyone seen the Acid House collapsible sets? I've seen similar things that are collapsible. But honestly, Art of Michael Lavoie, I play a lot more Marvel Crisis Protocol.
Oh.
And honestly, the terrain's super portable for that because it's just scattered terrain and a handful of bigger things. Like, I can take a paper box. Like, here's my idea. If you want to play something out and you need to bring terrain, if it can't fit in a paper box, you probably are playing the wrong game. You probably shouldn't be. You should be going somewhere that has terrain rather than bringing your own. But yeah, that's some of the newer games. Marvel Crisis Protocol. Now, one starter set doesn't have quite enough terrain to play with. But 2? Absolutely. You can play with 2. 2 is a perfectly fine playable. You'd want more. We've got a bunch. I could get you guys pictures of what L. Marshall does at his place for terrain for Marvel Crisis Protocol or anything, honestly. But, it's one of those things. There's always been people bringing terrain around. And that's sort of the thing, is you've got to figure out what you can do for that. I'll let Gonzo wrangle us back on the topic since I'm rambling a little bit.
But no, but that's a good point because certain games don't require a lot of terrain.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Certain games require a lot of terrain. Hello, Infinity.
Yeah, Infinity is so much as that there are different styles of terrain based on your geographical locale.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There is what we call American style, which is, holy shit, that's a lot of terrain. I hope you didn't bring a fucking tag. Or expect to get long because of fire. Then there's sort of European style, which people call like, holy shit, look at those long lanes of fire. I hope you don't walk across there because they're going to have something murder you. And there's what we call the standard terrain, which is sort of like in the middle.
Yeah.
And those are all jokes, but they're kind of true. I mean, Infinity can require a lot of terrain.
Oh, yeah.
It's better with the terrain.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Stereotypes are based on things that actually happen.
Uh-huh.
So.
But people were, I was looking at it and I was like, man. Now, don't get me wrong. People are really, really, really pushing, and Privateer Press is trying to push for 3D terrain and wanting to make sure that it's out there and done properly and giving rules for it and all this stuff. And I'm a person, I will take 3D terrain as long as it's usable and isn't a hindrance. And like you said, hills are a big issue.
Yeah, so I'm willing to take some hindrance.
Correct.
So I can tell you guys a story of playing a tournament at Drop Zone Games, and a guy moving a model, and he's like, "All right, I stopped right here on top of the wall." I'm like, "Can you put your model there?" He's like, "No." Well, you fucking can't stop there. He's like, "Well, the rules say, like, the rules don't say you can put models wherever the fuck you want. You can't fit your model there; it'll fall over. You can't put your model there." Love it when rules call that out, but that's the sort of thing you look at.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you can't stand on top of a fucking wall and stuff. That's why they are the way they are. But if you're going to make a hill, you should be able to stand on top of it.
Correct. And hills are the worst because you want a gradient. Although games
You don't want a
like
gradient. Actually, honestly, the best hills are the ones that are literally just, just about yay thick. You put it down, that's a hill. You're either on or you are off.
because what I was going to say was a lot of people like the gradient hills, but when I talk to everybody that plays in the BattleTech community, the issue they had with gradient hills is where do we count the go up and where do we count the go down? And so they do the slanted, the cliff
full-
hills
Yeah. Which
because
they
it makes
should
it a
do, because
whole
they're-
lot easier for that.
Well, because also they have. So BattleTech has advantages over other miniature games because they have much more defined miniature rules.
Yes.
A lot of them, were kind of vague. Thanks. It doesn't help. They're literally like, your hill, what size is it? Level 1 through... I don't think I've seen anything above a 4, but I'm sure it exists on some map somewhere. And that's literally like, level 1 is half the height of a mech, level 2 is a full height of a mech, level 3 is a 1.5, etc. A mech is 2 level high, and there you go. Definition good, you know what hides a mech, you know what doesn't hide a mech.
Yeah.
But BattleTech also has the bonus of having come from a board game where the maps have all that on them. I mean, I remember those maps well. You know all the spots. Easy to tell what's what. The heavy woods were clearly visible from the light woods. The water was all like, oh, this is level 1, this is level 2. Everything was clearly delineated and easy to tell. And then you get fucking 40K. And I know it's not this edition, it's like an edition or two ago where they're like, what counts as what? Meh, whatever. Here's some of the things your train should do, but meh. And then on the other end, you get sort of the... If you're willing to stop and take the time to define it, it works really well. But goddamn, it's a pain in the ass to have to define everything, which is Malifaux. They literally just have a bunch of traits.
Oh, yeah.
And you assign the traits that are required for that thing. Now, it'd be better if they said, hey, fences or this. There's a lot of little stuff they can do to make it easier. And I don't think any companies really, except maybe BattleTech, has really gotten it down to an art form yet as far as super clarity. They're all kind of have their own peculiarities. But I think the most important thing about the terrain pieces is that they're playable. If you want people to stand on them, they need to be made so you can stand on them. Or you get that hill, that wall problem we had, where a guy wanted to stand on the wall and he couldn't. And then he got upset when I told him no. Fuck off. I don't know. Not hard. But you can avoid all of that, I don't want to say unpleasantness, but all that sort of extra conflict if you're extra clear on the terrain.
And it's always good to make sure, I know we're getting a little bit off, but always when you get to a table, discuss with your opponent what the terrain is before you go anywhere, before you start playing.
And if you started playing already, you're going to have to give a little potentially.
Yeah.
Because, people might have already had a pretense, a thought of what terrain, what should be what, and if it's not, then you have to realize they've started the battle under a false pretense, and you start moving stuff. You're really going to have to be really lenient at some points. So best to call it out beforehand. It's best if the TO has a definition, if you're playing in a tournament, of, hey, here's a key, this means this. Not always possible by any stretch, but that would be perfect world. I mean, perfect world would be everything being clearly visible and the rule book being super clear about what's what. But for a tournament, if you're going to use stuff, like Gonzo can just take pictures of what he's got and put sheets at every table like, hey, this is this, this is this, this is this. Not that anything I've seen Gonzo put out there is any question of what it fucking is.
Yeah. Hopefully.
I mean, obviously he's painting a swamp, which is generally just going to be difficult terrain for most people.
Or shallow water.
I mean, that's how you want to call it. I generally just call swamp difficult terrain. Otherwise, it'd be a big. I feel like since you didn't make that big puddle like you did for the water feature like that, I imagine this would just be difficult terrain and not shallow water.
But here, that's the thing. This is something that has to be, you need to look at it.
Well, there you go. Your examples are perfect. I would paint the same thing you painted blue green if I wanted it to be a swamp and shallow water, which is basically just a different color shallow water.
Yeah.
Most games, swamps don't have any extra features that, say, shallow water doesn't, because water is generally difficult to move through, unless you're aquatic, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
And a swamp should actually be difficult to move through aquatic, too. It's not like it's just super water. It's fucking murky and icky and sticky. Where are we at?
But, yeah, we were talking about the terrain. Going to 3D terrain, there's benefits and negatives, like we were saying. It's going to take up more space for storage. I mean, I don't know if you can see it. There's like a box or something on the ground, and it's a huge container. And then there's a box on top of it. That's all my infinity terrain. Now, that's probably about 2 to 3 tables worth of infinity terrain. But imagine if you're at a convention and you have to do 16 tables worth of infinity terrain.
We've hosted them. It's not easy.
Yeah.
One of the things I liked about Infinity is some of the boxes they came out with had the foldable cardboard terrain, which was a good start. Like you put the empty boxes from the actual models inside them, and they give some structure. I'm like, oh, this is great.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was awesome. That was brilliant.
Yeah.
It's also like when we were putting together the Tinker Turf terrain for Warfare Weekend last year. We ended up having 4 or 5 totes just full of the Tinker Turf stuff for Warcaster.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That took up so much space.
Yeah, it's a problem. Like it becomes a bigger problem when you have to run a tournament. The bigger the event, the bigger the problem, of course. Unless the store's got a good amount of stuff. Even then, you might get some people. I mean, well, let's finish the talking about the terrain before I go into the arranging of terrain. If we get there. But so, like I said, if you're going to run one table of your own stuff, it shouldn't take up more than, it shouldn't even take up a whole paper box, but it shouldn't take up more than a paper box. Even Infinity for one table, you can generally fit most of it in a paper box. Because you have a bunch of scatter terrain, let's call it, walls and shit that are super compact. And don't forget that shit. Like, we're talking about the big terrain pieces. Don't forget the scatter terrain.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if there's something Marvel Crisis Protocol has taught me, that even the scatter terrain matters when I start throwing fucking phone booths and shit at people.
Mm-hmm.
So
and it looks good, too. I mean, because it's not just a barren wasteland, unless that's what you're going for. But if you're doing a cityscape, where's the light poles?
Yeah. And the hard part is, and this is the big one that gets me, because, we're playing a game, yes. But also, to an extent, it's theater of the mind, We want terrain to make some fucking sense. How many War Machine tables have you come in and it's just scattered around randomly just for, to be, if you will, effective and quote-unquote fair, and it makes no fucking sense. And it's just like, that looks terrible.
And I'm going to tell you right now, table side should not be fair.
No, it's a legitimate choice in the game.
Yes. And that BattleTech, you create your own battle. You create your own on the Alpha Strike version. You build your own table type thing. But I'm going to tell you right now, if the terrain is preset and it's not part of deployment or whatever it is, it should not be fair. There should be a reason why someone chooses a table edge. If
choosing table is a legitimate choice in the game, it needs to be a legitimate choice in the game.
Correct.
Now Marvel Crisis Protocols doesn't have anything like that as much anymore because it's the second player gets to choose certain things. So not necessary that then that should be a little more of a fair thing because it's not, second player already has an advantage in certain things. But yeah, like in War Machine of Hordes is the key one. 40K sort of the same deal. Actually, I would say even Age of fucking Sigmar, where everyone tries to go second because of the double turn. Absolutely, table size should not be fucking even. Because if they're trying to go second, they should get the shitty fucking side because they went second. Because in this case, opposite of normal, they're looking for it to get an advantage. If there's an advantageous to going first or second, like especially in the I go, you go, the full, I take my stuff, you do all your stuff, there needs to be a balancing factor to that going first or second.
Yeah, there should terrain should mean something in the game and not just sit out there for like tactical reasons. Yeah. I know you can't see this, guys. I don't know if it's really really light, and I know you can kind of see it there.
It's visible.
Okay.
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay. It sitting in front of it looks good. So we're gonna be testing some stuff out too after I get everything dry brushed up. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you, but go ahead. Sorry.
What was I talking about?
Setting terrain up.
Yeah, so like I said, if there's an advantage to going first or second, the disadvantaged side should get the choice. Disadvantaged player should get the choice of the side because you're trying to make it a fair game. That's the thing. You want to make it fair as possible, so both players have fun. So that should be your deciding factor. So in War Machine of Hordes, where you want to go first because of all the other things, we'll wash clean that up. A little heavy there.
Yeah.
Also, might dry lighter, who knows? But in a game like War Machine of Hordes, then you want the second player to choose the terrain. In a game like 40K, where you want to go first, potentially, I think you want to go first with long range weapons. That the second player should choose terrain, the side. But Age of Sigmar, where you want to go second, so you can't get double turned on, you should the first player should get to choose a side. It's little things like that can help balance, especially in a tournament setting. And in a casual setting, all this matters significantly less. But we're talking more pickup game, not knowing who you're playing type of dealio.
Yeah.
So. And if for some reason you have a game that's alternating activations or something, terrain matters a little less as far as balance, or as far as you don't want one side to be balanced over the other because you're going back and forth. It needs to be a balance at that point. I think the main point we're going to get is that each game is going to set up terrain maybe a little bit differently, and you're going to need to make sure you're setting it appropriately for the game you're playing.
Yeah. But I mean, there's something about 3D terrain compared to the 2D stuff, and we get it. And not everybody has it. We've already gone over that. But how do we get 3D terrain in your hands? Now, John, you do Etsy or,
Mostly Etsy.
Mostly Etsy. Me? I'm a 3D printer. I will print the shit out of terrain, aka is the reason why the printer's running non-stop until probably October.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, just go where you can go for terrain. Maybe your local store's got some you can purchase. Maybe your local store is the only place you play, and they have all the terrain you could ever want. You don't need to buy any of them. Don't. It's a luxury at that point. You don't need to expend. It's not a necessity. But if you play at home, you should have enough to play at home. Like, I can easily run a full table of Marvel Crisis Protocol and Change. I can do easily a 40K game or Star Wars Legion game. Basically what I would play at home, I can do at home. I have the terrain fat. Infinity might be a little bit of a problem. It's put together a bunch of buildings, but it'd be close. But that's sort of thing you have to look at is make sure you've got the terrain you need for the game you're playing.
Or if you're a player like me, have access to a person with the terrain that you need.
That means you've got the terrain you need. You just go, Gonzo, I need this terrain. Make it so. Arthur Michael Boy says, I lose a lot for D&D because I want a bit more tactical thinking for my combats. Absolutely. That's the hidden bonus of terrain and stuff. You can make some amazing D&D maps and stuff with terrain if that's what you're doing, even outside of just playing tabletop minis. If your D&D is very map oriented, you can absolutely go crazy with it. It's awesome.
Yeah, the
I mean, if you
immersion
look
factor.
at the videos of, what fucking Dimension 20 or fucking Crit Roll does, it's amazing. But you don't have to go quite that far. You can just do little stuff. Like, honestly, I was a little upset I didn't pick up all of the stuff from Pathfinder. I pick up 2 of their graveyard sets. Great set of terrain if you want to pick up a graveyard. The majority of a table in that set. I missed their Goblin Village, which I'm a little upset about. But little stuff like that, like they'll do that.
That was cool.
It was very cool. It was like just little proper huts and a wall and stuff. Would have been great, but I missed it, and I don't want to play secondary market rates because, oof,
Fair. That's the thing.
yeah, buying it just to resell it is a fucking thing.
Oh yeah.
Thanks, Games Workshop players, fuckers.
Tell us
Actually,
how
not
you
even
really feel
players.
about
Sorry.
it.
Let me retract. Not the Games Workshop players. Games Workshop retailers, fuckers. Because they're playing it, they're going to buy it for themselves. I have no problem with that. You get it first, you get it. It's all good. It's the retailers like, oh, look, I've got this thing that just went on sale and sold out in 9 minutes flat, but I got like 17 copies. Anyways, that's a little off topic. Bain also says something about some good Battletech building STLs on Kickstarter. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Also, Death Ray Designs, I believe it is. Well, I've bought a lot of stuff from in the past. It's a quality company. I
Yes.
don't say that lightly. Like when I got their bases for my Infinity stuff, and when I got the giant tag for Hakislam, I'm like, hey man, you had a plans to make a base of this size? He's like, nope, but for X amount, I'll make one specifically for you. Just give me some measurements. Like, fucking, who does that? Apparently, Death Ray Designs does that. But
We have a few of there. They have actually a city terrain that would work. That works good for like Infinity or MCP. And it has 2 large buildings, and one of the buildings is like almost 2 foot tall. When you're done, everything fits inside of that building because the building is hollow, and it's actually its own carrying case for the terrain. It was actually pretty sweet when I finally built it and put it together, and the entire terrain fits inside one of the buildings.
Yeah.
Which was
well, for that graveyard set I got from Pathfinder, actually, Devil Squid has it and uses it also for Malifaux. And like you fit a bunch of stuff inside one of the bigger ones, so you can that's easier storage, like you said. Someone else also is doing a bunch of more Battletech terrain. I think it's one of the companies that does a bunch of Marvel Crisis Protocol stuff. One of those companies that does a bunch of STL files for them.
I don't remember their name, but I do, and I have some of their
Corvus?
Yeah, Corvus terrain.
Corvus.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it's Corvus Terrain's doing that.
Yeah, because they give you the STLs. What I really like about what they do is they give you the STLs or whatever you want, and they go, if you're playing MCP, up this by 25%. If you're playing XYZ, downgrade this to, a certain amount of height, which is actually pretty good because then it fits, what you want. But yeah, Corvus terrain, actually that was my...
And I love, like I'm on their webpage right now. They're like modern and heroic range. They tell you what it is, Galactic Battles range. They got some appropriate stuff for that. Grimdark range.
What?
6mm sci-fi. Well, that's your Battletech. Like, there's a lot of companies out there that do very good stuff. This is what I want. The fucking urban elevated train line. That would be such a cool terrain to base sail over.
Oh, the train lines, yeah.
Yeah. And that's a good one to look at, too. If you're going to make a table for yourself,
go
all in and make it a theme. Yeah, like I want to do a farmhouse table for Marvel Crisis Protocol because there's plenty of things you can throw, wrecked cars and all. I got some of the packs from the Walking Dead miniatures game. So there's some old cars that are messed up, pickup trucks and all that. And you just get the right buildings to go with it and you're set. Art of Michael Boyle says, another one I like is Brutal Cities. They have MDF kits. Let's see here. And if you're looking at that, actually, apparently I've been to Brutal Cities before because they came from out of film.
Came right up.
Yeah, not surprised. Go on Etsy, go online, find this stuff. There's a bunch. Yeah, there's good stuff there. And look at their bundles.
Yeah, usually
Like-
people will sell like
Yeah.
a packet bundle.
Like, oh, you're playing Infinity. Here is a solid terrain start, maybe a little lighter than you want overall. But here is a cost-effective starting bundle for you to do that. You know, like this looks like it. Now, remember, also might be out of different countries, so you have to do some math to figure out what it is. But they're really good at telling you what scale it is. Know the scale of your model so you can know what terrain works. At a certain point, I'm here to tell you that freaking model terrain is going to work for you. Less so on the 40K scale, a little more on the Marvel Crisis Protocol scale. But look at that stuff. You know, I bought a while ago a bunch of was at a tournament at a hobby town, and I always buy something when I'm at a tournament,
Mm-hmm. Always.
especially if it's free.
Mhm.
And it was free, and I'm like, oh, hey, here's some cool, power lines for, O scale, I think it is. And I'm like, perfect. These will work for like my superhero game or whatever. Just buy little stuff like that. You never know when it becomes cool terrain. Like now, Marvel got half of them, I got half of them. We put them on tables. You got more things to throw. Terrain is sort of what you make of it. You can go and don't let anyone really shame you if you are limited budget and you're doing all 2D terrain. There's nothing fucking wrong with that.
But what are some
As
alternatives?
tournaments, we need to go higher level though,
Yeah. So
because we're the standard bearers.
the one things that I always remember, and you brought it up earlier, was opening up a package of something that had to be shipped very carefully, aka monitors, TVs, and looking at the styrofoam and going, "Oh shit, I could use this for."
Yeah, originally that's what it was. There are tricks and tips for using that stuff too. And honestly, nowadays, I will be candid that the stuff people sell online is cheap enough that you probably don't have to use that styrofoam anymore. The amount of work it takes to make it look decent, and a lot of extra stuff you may not have. Like you might have the stuff already. If so, cool. You might not plan to do a bunch.
Mhm.
You're gonna have to stop and take a look. And I know it's not an extra step above putting together models and rolling dice and having fun, but you need to stop and take a look at your terrain you need for the game you want to play. All right, you need to go. Am I going to play this only in a place that has terrain? If yes, you're good. Do whatever you want. If no, you guys start thinking about, well, what am I going to do to make sure I have terrain? Maybe go, hey, I remember the last time we had a tournament, we were a little light on terrain. Can me having a full table worth of stuff help that? Well, yes. Often we'll look at the guys who have a ton of terrain to help supplement our terrain. Like in Infinity especially, we'd be like, we're doing Infinity terrain, who's bringing terrain? And a bunch of guys are like, I got 3 tables worth, I got 2 tables worth, and suddenly you got a tournament.
I'll tell you so for Warfare Weekend, I reached out to the local individual and said, hey, people want to play Infinity at Warfare Weekend, but terrain is an issue because it's a shit ton of terrain, and Infinity players really like really cool looking stuff. But he's like, no, we got terrain covered. We can have 16 tables done for you, no problem. I'm like, really? I'm like, yep, because the community
awesome.
comes together and like John has a table, Ben has a table, blah, blah, blah. And then everybody has a table and everybody just brings it because they want to see it played at a convention also.
And that's the best thing is you make a themed table, suddenly, that helps. So like you might not play it at a tournament, but someone else is now like, oh, look at this cool farm table, or look at this cool subway table, this cool elevated train table where you got the trains going through the center of it and shit to throw and everything. It's great. I will take pictures for you guys, so at least for everyone if I can, of L. Marshall's Necromunda tables. Like, I joke in the pre-round, I'm a little upset that, them doing the Necromunda kind of killed our Marvel Crisis Protocol train, but he's fucking all in. He has just some crazy table ideas he's working on. I'll start taking pictures of that, because even though I'm probably not playing Necromunda with him, I'm going to show up just to hang out with my buddies. I need that shit. And I'm going to take some pictures and show you guys the cool-ass terrain they make.
Yes. I like pretty
'Cause-
things. I like seeing pretty things. Let's do it.
Like, hey, GWiz509, how you doing?
Welcome in.
Yeah. So we did a bunch, and I can try and find the pictures. Someone asked, like, oh, hey, what kind of Marvel Crisis Protocol do you do there? And this is just my buddy's basement. He can do easily 6 tables of Marvel Crisis Protocol, like, full terrain. Terrain, this in case, we're talking mostly about the games we play, which is going to be Marvel Crisis Protocol, War Machine and Hordes, maybe a little bit of 40K, Battletech, and Alpha Strike. They use pretty much the same terrain if you use terrain. But any miniature game will work. We're just looking at what you want to do for. Gonzo's currently painting up some 3D printed stuff he has, so he has it for his convention coming up in November.
Would that be specifically for War Machine, Gonzo?
Yes, these are specifically for War Machine.
I'll state, though, they'll work for just about anything.
Oh, yeah, they will. But these...
They're a little...
For sure.
Actually, no, I'll say they'll work for Battletech, too. Just got to define, what they do.
Yeah, they're printed for War Machine.
Yeah.
Make your terrain what you want for, though. In this
Yeah.
case, it's for War Machine.
Yeah, so the good thing is, remember, just take a look at terrain and don't be stuck by what it says it's used for. If you can use it, use it. We like to make fun of Games Workshop for a lot of things, but man, their terrain kits are fucking top notch and can generally be used for multiple things.
Extra heavy.
Like my ass.
I mean, do you want a challenge for heavy asses? 300 pounds of John would like to talk.
I cannot comment.
I'd like to call that a conversation ender.
So
Anyway,
instead of pouring liquid onto this, which can heat up, can warp, other things, I'm going to use...
And I'm going to say, for resin and stuff like that, be very careful because warping it is a fucking death sentence.
Yeah, this is the reason why I'm testing it out on these pieces first. So if I lose a piece, I'm okay, not a big deal. But it should give it that... If it doesn't warp it, it should give it that,
I'm going to say you probably should have washed it before that, but
nah,
the test piece will be fine.
not too worried about it. Plus, this has got to go to my detail team, and they got 60 of these to do.
great. I love that. Fantastic. Thank you so
Detail,
much.
please.
The detail team of 2 people, goddammit, and we do things.
They get shit
I had a
done.
feeling that's
We
what
get shit done.
That's how that's how you do things. That's a good idea for if you guys are doing something big. If you do a big tournament, get the locals who want to help to help. A lot of them always be like, "Oh, I'd love to help." Yeah, get them to put their money where their mouth is.
Yep.
Okay,
time
here's
where their
60
mouth is.
pieces of terrain. Go for it. You got
Well,
2
that-
weeks, and then in 2 weeks I'll be back and dump off more for you.
Before what the hell's that one near me? Nova Open one year. Dan from Tectonic Staff Studios was actually in the house Kree and I shared. He and Kree and all of them were putting stuff together for getting ready for the the event. It was super cool. See, there you go, Legion. That is the top-notch comments we need. Make sure you're transporting this stuff, especially depending on if you're going to seal it or not. Put paper towels between the pieces in the transport. It's a good idea. Granted, you could just seal it, and most sealant's going to be okay with that. But maybe you do something like this. In fact, honestly, I'd say seal it. Bubble wrap's good for stuff that's a little more fragile. But really, if you get people who just aren't assholes and don't like slam your stuff around, you should be okay.
Yeah, you're always going to do a, hey, we need to fix terrain every
Yeah.
year.
The flat pieces are good. I actually like the idea of paper towels because even if you are set, you don't need to worry about it so much. I mean, paper towels are cheap.
Indeed.
Just you can just put it between there. That way you've got not necessarily extra rubbing on there. Because sure, like I said, sealant's going to work, but why take an extra chance you ain't got to take, right?
Mm-hmm.
Terrain frisbee. I would advise against terrain frisbees. And also, I'll say this: don't hesitate to call out people who are doing stupid shit to terrain at the store. I don't see
Take
it's
care
a
of
little
your
off.
terrain.
Like, yeah, take care of your terrain. Take care of your store's terrain. Clean up
not
after you're
yours,
done.
don't
Yeah.
treat it badly. If it is yours, don't treat it badly, but you do you.
Yeah, if it's yours, you can do whatever you want with it. I don't care. Would advise you not to treat it badly, but it's yours. I can't stop you. We had a guy, and I won't name names, who literally, to get his termagants to stand on the edge of a hill, stuck them into the hill tail first.
Oh.
Here. Yikes.
As soon as the guy running the bunker saw that, they kicked his ass out real quick. We cheered.
That's a big old nope.
Yeah, that's a no. Don't do that stuff. I would say treat all this stuff like it was super important, because it is.
Somebody spent time / money on all of this.
Mm-hmm. And they did it so you could have a good time. Like,
The
I
benevolent
understand
people.
that we're all inherently, and no matter how much you want to say it, we're all inherently a bit selfish. It's human nature. I don't blame anyone for that. But try and step back and think about what's being done so that you can have fun. Especially when it comes to terrain and all. Help a little bit if you can. If you can't, at least treat it nice.
Yes.
If you can offer a night, go over to Mizzy's and Nell's house and help them dry brush some fucking terrain.
I mean, they only have 100 trees, 50 trenches.
Right, so keep Slave
now.
Driver Gonzo happy and help them fucking dry brush terrain. Jesus, Gonzo.
And then next week, or this week, it'll be 60 water features, 10 more trenches, and like 30
Jeez, I'm glad I don't live down there. Like, trying to put me to work and shit.
30 rough terrain
I'm
pieces.
fun though, John. You have a
Fun.
good time here. We watch movies. I can make you brownies.
See, he's
I've
getting
got
upset
all the
because
alcohol I could possibly have for you.
since we're about to get in that section, someone puts in a movie and I stop doing what I'm doing and I pay attention to the movie.
Ah, shit. That's right.
There's a story of we were playing back when we used to play the Decipher Star Wars game. I go to a little card shop called Out of Bounds, next city down, basically. And one day they put in The Mummy, and I had not seen The Mummy.
What?
And
What?
normally they would go, oh, first round we'll put John against the newbie because he'll wreck the newbie, but in a way that the newbie learns some stuff. And I'm like, I haven't seen this movie. This is really cool. And I just absolutely hosed that poor kid because I wanted to sit and watch the movie for the rest of the round. And I did. They were like, John, we have never seen you finish round so quick. Sorry, you put in a movie I haven't seen I was interested in. They started not doing that. Like, John, have you seen this movie? Yeah, that's fine. I was like,
Okay.
hey, it's Titanic. Yeah, I don't care about Titanic. You're fine. I know how it ends. But,
One floats
yeah.
away.
So anyways, media section, Gonzo, if you'd be so kind.
Yeah, give me 1 second. And I actually finished pretty much those six pieces of terrain.
Bring on the
5?
blame game. Yeah, Legion, this is technically your fault. I think I'm the
okay
only one
with
who's going to... Yeah,
I'm
I
okay
think I'm
with
the
it.
only one who's going to blame you.
Dog's going
Bark,
nuts.
bark, 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 bark.
It's wrestling time.
It's
And-
wrestling time.
Doo-doo.
So we all have, if you're your first time listening and watching, this is our media section where we go over things that we've watched, read, listened to, whatever. We have 2 rating scales. We have a rating scale of Cats being the worst movie ever made, Casablanca being the perfect movie. And then we have our, Space Herpes, aka from Ice Pirates movie. And pretty much it is the fewer Space Herpes, the better the movie. You don't want to get 5. 5 is Cats, 0 is Casablanca. We all have at least one movie we're going to talk about together that we're going to review. But other than that, John, how many other things do you have?
One. And I am not caught up on Citadel, which probably is a bit of a damning state for that. I plan on catching up, maybe this week, since I think the last episode comes out this week. But yeah, I have not watched the rest of that at all. But to be fair, the last week and a half or so has been trying.
Oh yeah, last week and a half has been a little difficult for us.
What the fuck are you doing? What? I don't even know what you think you're doing there.
Click, click.
There we go. Making sure you spend them.
You must be crazy.
Sorry, my dogs. This is about the time one of them gets tired and the other one wants to wrestle. What?
I'm sure you have 17 things, and Mizzy probably has half of those things as well.
No, actually. So,
Oh.
because of the way that the last, week and a half, 2 weeks have been, I've been listening to the same 3 albums for comfort for the last week. And I've got the one movie, and I could technically talk about a song, but yeah. So
I have another band I bought a CD from, but I need to remember what the name of the band is. So, I'll start. Might know that occasionally on Facebook you'll see it pop up going like, hey, do you want to look at this, the things you're interested in, the ads. And this is for a band, and I don't remember the name of it fully. December's the name. I don't remember the name fully. I'm terrible like that. I'm looking for it right now. But it's like, hey, if you pay shipping, we'll send you a CD. I'm like, well, that means it's likely to be about a $5 CD. It's called As December Falls. And so I'm like, fuck it. $4.95 CD, why not? Right?
okay.
They give me kind of early Paramore vibes, but kind of different. The sound is very early Paramore, but they're not talking about fucking high school, which is good because I don't need to hear songs about fucking high school. It's say I remember high school, I really don't, but I remember that fuck high school, in case anyone was wondering. But what I want to say about that is, try that stuff out. If you listen and go like, hey, I like the way that sounds, give it a shot. You gotta try, even if you just go, hold on, that looks interesting, let me look them up on YouTube. Take a listen to some new music. You can just sit there and listen to all the same music. That's what us old grognards do. It's the same album I listened to since 1979. I was 5 when I listened to albums back then, but you get the point. Like, yes, I still listen to Def Leppard Hysteria. It's a fucking great album. Go get it. But you need to look at some new stuff, too, to try to expand your horizons a little bit. So that's my suggestion, is look at that. As for the As December Falls album, it was pretty good. I give it a 2. I mean, I'm going to rate the album in Space Herpes, too. Why the fuck not? It's 2 Space Herpes. It is enjoyable. Even though it's only 5 tracks, it doesn't really get old. I don't listen to like a bunch of it, but you listen to it in the car. Cool. Occasionally on the computer. Worth it. Try some new music. Missy's only got the one thing pretty much.
Yeah, no. So I started watching, and I'm not going to give it a full rating, but I will tell you if I'm liking it or not liking it. A new series came out on Netflix, an anime, called Yakitori. Soldiers of Misfortune. And this is a futuristic episode where an alien race of cat dog people take over the planet and pretty much use humans as bait to fight other people.
Do you mean like cat dog, like the old cartoon cat dog, where half of the cat?
No, there's like cats and then there's dogs. They're anthropomorphic.
I'm just making sure.
So they stand on hind legs and walk around.
Pugs.
There is a drill sergeant marine pug that has a beard and a crew cut and everything. Yeah. So I'm watching. I'm only like
this, and I've watched so much anime, and it's
Yeah.
weird.
It's only 6 episodes long, and they're only like 30 minutes apiece. I'm only like 3 episodes in. I'm enjoying it. It's got good. One thing it has good animation, good artwork, good fighting. They do a lot of flashbacks, talking about what happened before this giant war happened, and so on and so forth. But it's out there, and it's good. It's good fun anime. And for 30 minutes, you can watch an episode and then go do something. You're not glued to it, nonstop. But
Unless you binge things like I do.
yeah. Well, this is 6 episodes.
I don't binge things, luckily.
Yeah.
If I binge things, that means they're really, really good.
Yeah. But I'm enjoying it. I'll continue watching it. I mean, like I said, it's only got 3 episodes left. So about another hour and a half, 2 hours, give or take. And I'll watch it. But if you like anime, you like good animation, decent story, weird, cool monster humanoid people, go for it. I can also say that I did watch the newest Ted Lasso. We've only got about 3 episodes left, 2 episodes left for the series. And
I think I'm
man,
an episode or 2 behind. I need to fix that.
Yeah, it is so good. I think you're 1 behind.
I'm a season. I'm 2.5 seasons behind. Don't judge.
Look, you can watch 2.5 seasons in 4 days. You want to know how I know that? Because I did it.
You can watch 2.5 seasons in 4 days.
It's that good though.
I cannot.
It is very good.
It's so good. I love it.
The writing for this show is just top notch. It's very entertaining. It is my feel good go to TV show. If I need a smile on my face or to feel warmth in my heart, that's it. Like I said, what would Ted Lasso say?
You need to connect with your feels.
Yeah. And good feels too.
Been trying to disconnect the feels recently. Call me
This
crazy.
one's a good feels. And I always say, and thanks to Captain Mizzy getting the bracelet, what would Ted Lasso say? Very much so. If people followed more about what Ted Lasso says or the way he acts, we'd have a much better world.
It's on my list. I still have a lot of stuff I need to catch up on, and I have not caught up on any of it.
Yeah. Highly recommend.
I did watch last week, week before last, technically speaking, but I did rewatch Zulu,
Yeah.
classic war movie, and it's fucking great.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it is quickly becoming one of my favorite war movies. It is well acted by all the main actors, even like the individual guys do a good job. A little product of its time as far as it, but man, you don't get movies so much anymore where they don't just vilify the antagonist because they're the antagonist. They don't. Every time someone just goes like, well, the Zulus are just savages, right? Someone's there to fucking smack them down and go, are they? They can do this shit. What the fuck can you do? It's not 100% historically accurate, but it is as historically accurate as any movie is really going to get. And it's just good. Michael Caine's first appearance in the movie. Great job on him. Just a great movie. It is absolutely zero space herpes. It is definitely right there behind Casablanca. I should watch it. I don't know where you can stream it because when I wanted to watch it the first time, I bought it on Blu-ray, and I don't regret it even the slightest.
Something else I watched, and I actually watched it and forgot to talk about it before, was Creed 3.
On my list to do a rewatch of the Rocky series into Creed.
It was just okay. You saw the plot line a mile wide. You saw how everything was going to go.
I can see the plot line a mile away, and I've only seen the trailer.
Correct. And you want to feel that cool, Rocky thing again, where we all get together, they're triumphing over, some insurmountable odds. The heart is what's winning him. And really, I didn't feel shit for this Rocky movie. Or this Creed movie.
Also, if I remember correctly, Stallone's not in it.
Yes, he is out. He's not in it.
Yeah,
they're not working together. And honestly, I think at that point, they should have called it a day. If they didn't want to do any movies together, they shouldn't be doing it, because from what I've seen of clips, Stallone doesn't carry the whole movie, but him and the main work together well, and that's why they make them good movies.
Yeah. I mean, was it a bad movie? No, not really. It wasn't a bad movie, but it was just like, if I didn't see it, I wouldn't cry my eyes out that I didn't get to see it, type thing. But it was just meh. So it gets my 2.5 space herpes. Take it or leave it.
Well, I mean, Gonzo, I think Mizzy and I are dry, and unless you want to talk about albums until we talk about the joint movie.
Yeah, y'all talk about whatever you need to talk about.
So I sent the guys a song that I heard while I was driving.
I assume you have Spotify when you're driving?
Apple Music.
Okay. Something like that. Fair enough.
So I was just letting my music play, I was just trying to get home, and then this cover of
The Numa Numa song.
yes, because I'm a heathen. I don't know what the actual name is, but the Numa song.
Yeah, it's got a name, but it's the Numa Numa
Yeah.
song. Everyone knows it's the Numa Numa song.
It's the Numa Numa song. So, but it was like a metal version, kind of.
Technically, yes. It
Technically?
was absolutely a metal version. I don't know if Gonzo listened to it or not. He's a heathen. He might not.
No.
I
That
sent you that.
praises you.
It was not, as the kids would call it, a banger. It's not bad. I feel like it's inferior to the other version because it is basically just metal pop at that point.
And I have to 100% agree with you. Like, it's interesting. It's not terrible,
No.
but
It doesn't do anything special for it's literally just, we're going to take the same lyrics and everything, and we're just going to make the song a little, the instruments a little heavier.
Yeah.
Is it fine? It's fine. I would still listen to the original version.
100%. You gotta sing and dance to that. Misheard lyrics are everything with that song.
Let's be honest. The original is actually a banger.
Yes.
It is the epitome of pop. It's catchy, enjoyable. The music video's enjoyable. Those guys are really getting into it, even though there's some, like, I guess, Italian, I think it is, or whatever, boy band.
It sounds right, yeah.
But, this is like,
I have Google.
if it came up again on YouTube, I would probably not just stop my game to go change it.
Yeah.
But it did not get a thumbs up on YouTube. It's fine. It's not great. Expect more stuff like this, because she's going to find it. I'm going to listen to it. I don't care. You know what I mean, cover songs.
John's a glutton for punishment.
Well,
No.
I mean,
I am an enjoyer of music, and I like to think I can be fairly open-minded to music.
well, if it's weird shit music, then it's gonna pop up on my thing because, I've got Ailstorm, I've got Rumahoy, I've got Windrose, I've got all kinds of fantasy stuff.
Look, I think Windrose
So-
peaked with Diggy Diggy Hole.
That song actually came up in our Unity group.
I bought that song on iTunes because that song was good. I like Ailstorm. Ailstorm's good. I haven't heard of the other one, but I hear that.
So Rumahoy, I have to be in the right mindset to listen to. There are some Ailstorm lyrics that reference Rumahoy, actually. So I think that's how it got into my filter.
Let's be honest. If you guys want interesting music, if you want stuff that's sort of old schooly, let's say, listen to a lot of European music. They have not left the 80s and 90s necessarily, and it's okay.
Yes,
Art
Glory Hammer is in there. Yes, Legionel's Airstorm is pirate metal, and of course I have it. So
I don't like Glory Hammer as much as some of the other stuff you sent me. Like, I've heard some stuff, they're fine, but it wouldn't go out of my way. But
there
again,
are certain songs, for
Yeah.
sure.
always are. But, like, I listen to Beast in Black, who is enjoyable as hell to me. Heck, I bought their album, the physical copy, the most recent one, which is the sort of cyberpunky theme I talked about maybe a year ago. Don't regret it at all. Not even a little. But I like listening to that other stuff. The stuff out there. It's just cool. That's how I found, back in the day, I found, oh God, what's their name? Nightwish. Thank you.
Ooh, Nightwish. Yes.
Not sure where they're going. They lost another musician who retired.
Yeah.
So we'll see where they go. But There's a lot of good stuff out there if you guys just go look for it.
Indeed.
Go on YouTube, let that shit go crazy. Click on stuff that like interesting. Now, granted,
Laser
keep in mind,
shooting dinosaurs.
maybe not click on that one, but you can listen to it once. Keep in mind, there'll be a lot of clickbait out there. They're gonna put scantily clad chicks in leather in there, so you go and click on it. But that shouldn't stop you because sometimes it'll lead you to something that's more enjoyable.
Yep. So, Gonzo?
I did watch Quantum Mania. Ant-Man 3, be precise.
It's on my list.
Yeah. It's free on Netflix right now. Or not Netflix, on Disney Plus. Disney Plus. Also, while we're doing that, if you haven't watched the D&D movie and you have Paramount Plus, the D&D movie's on now Paramount Plus. So you can watch that. So I watched it. It was okay. It wasn't great. MODOK was kind of disappointing. But for the most part,
MODOK's charm, he's always disappointing.
Yeah. MODOK was disappointing. I didn't like the way they did it and what they did with him and how he looked and stuff. But it's here nor there now. It's done and it's over.
Wait, do you mean beloved Marvel villain MODOK?
Yeah.
Sorry. The Taskmaster joke for all you old school guys. So
Uh,
glad those people went back in their fucking hole.
but I mean, it was okay. It kind of felt like a Star Wars movie than it did an Ant-Man movie, just because the way it was done and the way it was filmed. But I mean, it was okay. I'm glad I didn't see it in the theater.
I mean, I would have rather seen it. I haven't seen it yet, but I still want to see stuff like that in the theater. It's just right now is just not a good time.
Yeah.
Like we're going into summer, Gonzo, and I'm looking at what I have to see in the theater.
Oh my God, this June is outrageous.
So I'm going to skip Fast X because standards. They're low, but Fast X is lower.
Your standards are not on the ground.
Correct. But, like, I'm trying to remember what else is. I still want to see Sisu, but that's probably going to end up on streaming before I get a chance to see it. But, like, Indiana Jones is coming out. I need to see Guardians 3. I really want to see that in the theater. That's been getting great reviews. Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Ooh.
There's at least another movie coming out, too. I'm trying to remember. June movies. There we go. Across the Spider-Verse, yes. Oh, more movies coming out than I thought. No. Oh, Transformers: Rise of the Beast. Kind of want to see that.
Yep.
That's like, if I have to skip one of the 4 this month, that is probably going to be it. And Flashpoint, I kind of want to see that. Like everyone's saying, fucking Michael Keaton owns in it, but Michael Keaton's a good actor. This just in, Mr. Mom's a good actor. It's an old school one. You're welcome. And then, yeah, I do want to see Indiana Jones. Even people shit on the last Indiana Jones. It wasn't that bad. You guys just had unreal expectations of it. And, yeah. That's just this month. July probably be bad, too. But I'm going to try and find a day a week to go see movies.
Yeah, June is going to have a lot of stuff coming out. But, so, I mean, same thing with this. It's a 2.5. It was just meh. Like, okay, that's all right. Just there. I do have a lot of stuff on my list. I'll probably be watching that more this week. Giving a little bit of downtime and stuff and just working on other projects. But I'll have some time.
Guardians 3 this week because I kind of want to get that out of the way before fucking June starts in earnest.
Yeah, I do want to do that too.
Because I've been told nothing but good. Want to get that done. Because honestly, it's what I want from Guardians because it's still James Gunn. I don't like the Guardians by anyone else. They don't do them well, in my opinion, aside from Rocket. I honestly think he may be the most well-developed character from the Guardians.
Yep.
Rocket and Nebula, and Nebula only got 2 movies worth of fucking growth, honestly. So we'll see where that goes. But yeah. Maybe we should talk about the one we all watched.
So this week, got a message from John say, "Hey, we need to watch this." So I go, "Well, Captain Missy's going to be on, so she's going to watch it too."
Let's
And
let's start that for me. Legionnaires, while we were playing Mecha Online, it's like, when are you guys gonna watch this movie? And I'm like, fuck, I guess we got to. So before I think too hard about it, I tell Gonzo. Gonzo's like, yeah, we'll watch it all. And then I'm like, wait, what have I done? I don't like this movie.
because I also suggested that we watch Hawk the Slayer, and John goes, he has standards. Low, but there are some standards.
Yeah, like, I'm here to tell you, Hawk the Slayer is not good.
No. But I didn't get to finish watching that. I don't think. Captain Mizzy, did you finish watching it?
No, I did not.
We did. So we looked up Lady Hawk to see if it was anywhere, and you can't get it for free. So we decided, not to do it. Although,
Bye, Lady Hawk.
yeah, Lady Hawk is a good one. We will get to Lady Hawk
I'll
eventually.
state this unequivocally. Rutger Hauer's best movie.
Yeah, but
I mean, if you don't count the fact that he was in Batman Begins, but he was I don't count that. But like his best movie where he had a significant role.
yeah. If Ray doesn't understand, the movie that we watched was Captain Mizzy,
Beastmaster.
Beastmaster. Super, super classic. Super, super old.
Old, yes. Classic? Classic to no default.
How about retro?
Yeah, you were watching it with me. Woof. It's a product of fucking time.
Oh, 100%. It is a product of its time. And I will tell you, when this came out, it was cool as shit. Because that's all we had.
It came out the same years as Conan the Barbarian, and one of those movies is a lot fucking better than the other.
Correct. But for what it was, when it came out, we were like, this was cool. But
For
this is what we...
1982, sure.
Yes. I mean, because we didn't have the cool shit that we're having now, but that's the time. So you got what you got.
So Bania says, I mean, the two lead actors were awesome. He means Kodo and Podo.
Kodo and Podo.
And the carry was well done. So my favorite in this movie are Kodo and Podo and the fucking Hawk. The Hawk fucking carries that movie. Oh shit, what are we gonna do? The fucking Hawk's gonna save you. It's gonna save the baby. It's gonna go get the people to help you. It's gonna save you from the weird vampire things.
Let's talk about the.
They had to have a scene in a dungeon so the Hawk couldn't participate. Although it would have carried every fucking major event.
Let's ask Mizzy, what did you think about the tree creatures that gooified people?
Let's not talk anymore about them. Yes, Santa Beastmaster.
Things were. I enjoyed it. I could see, it's like I was like, okay, so this is basically a fighter and a druid combined, multi-class, and so anytime something would happen, my thoughts were, I can see why Kathy loved this movie.
No, absolutely. I mean,
and I thought it was fun. I enjoyed it. I can see why y'all don't.
Oh no! I enjoy it. I love it.
Rather, John.
John doesn't. I love it because but there's a lot of nostalgia behind why I love it.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Is a lot of people love it because of nostalgia. They saw it when it first came out. I never saw it all the way through when it first came out. I will say that there's potential in the story for it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And in a rarity, there's not enough exposition in this fucking movie. There are times when some exposition would be welcome and like, oh, I see how they made that. There's some scenes that are in it just to set up later scenes, and you're like, you could have made this part of this. And the biggest thought I got is, hey, if this was like a Netflix series, 6 to 8 episodes, this could be great. It is more story than you can tell in an hour and 45 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I will say that at the end of it, I was yelling at it because I had opinions that they knew that they were related, but they were still sucking face. And I'm just like, that's technically your cousin.
Yeah, well, remember, in every state, that's not a problem.
Look, having lived in stereotype states, I don't like it.
I don't like it either. It's definitely a problem. And he was very creepy on her, and it was just like, whoa. Yeah, yeah. Beatty and I were for the first half of the movie or so. We're sitting there MST3King it. Like every time he cawed at the bird, I'd be like, "Man, stop trying to speak. You fucking embarrass yourself." Because it didn't sound great. Like, it's got a lot of potential. I don't feel like it's a lot of fun. I look at it like, what's the main scene that sticks in my mind?
Gooifying people.
Yeah, maybe. But honestly, I don't remember that till that comes up. Like, honestly, I look at it like, I don't remember anything about this movie. Like, then you watch it like, oh, I remember this shit. I remember this shit. This is the epitome of not a good movie. But I'm gonna give it 2 ratings. This is normal. I'm gonna go be nice. I'm gonna give it 3 space herpes. And call it just under what I would call an average fantasy movie. But that's nowadays. When it came out, there was no Lord of the Rings to compete with. There wasn't even Willow to compete with. When it came out, it was fucking probably came out the same year as Conan. It was probably 1 space herpy at that point, and slowly moved down as they kept upping the genre. I will call it, overall, for when it came out, the average of what all fantasy movies should be judged better or worse than. Was it better or worse than Beastmaster? You'd be like, hey, I just watched X fantasy movie. Oh, cool. Is it better or worse than Beastmaster? If it's worse, fuck off. I ain't watching that. If it's better, I'll give it a watch. If it's the same, maybe.
I think we need to do, like, every time all 3 of us are on, we need to do what 80s shitty movie should we watch and rate. Because Captain Mizzy has most likely not seen it.
What should you subject Mizzy to?
Do you know what fantasy movie is better than this by a long mile?
Hawk the
Conan
Slayer?
the Destroyer. No, not Hawk the Slayer. Hawk the Slayer is the opinion of, is this movie better or worse than Beastmaster? Worse.
Worse.
Right. Because here's the thing, Captain, you can see this came out with Conan the Barbarian. Conan the Barbarian is the best fantasy movie at this point when they both come out together.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the time, Conan was the best.
Is
Yeah.
miles better than this.
Oh, Conan, yes.
But different. It's not. This is supposed to be fun and whimsical, and I feel like it just misses. Conan's very much more serious. But then Willow comes out, and Willow basically becomes the best fantasy movie. Beats out Conan by a little bit just because it's a little more fun and whimsical and has magic and stuff and etc. And then, of course, Lord of the Rings comes out, and they're like, just get your asses back there. I'm
And then
the
it's
top
done
dog.
for.
Yeah. It's going to be hard. But as I told Baney on watching this, I'm like, man, if I want to watch mediocre fucking fantasy, I'd watch Aragon again. Yeah, you're welcome.
Yikes.
I would rate Aragon probably better than this. Maybe. Red Sonja is Xander Warlord. Red Sonja is better than this by a country mile.
Yeah. Now, Lady Hawk, I think, is a really, really good show that people should watch.
Yeah, Lady Hawk is underrated as fuck. People
Yeah.
don't see it. But yeah, I'll let you guys figure out what is streamable. I can watch just about everything. Dragonheart's not good. I'm sorry, Banyan. I would call Dragonheart the modern equivalent of fucking Beastmaster, where everyone's like, "This is great." No, really, fucking not. It's mediocre.
Ooh, Legionnaires. That cartoon is very trippy, but was so weird.
That came up on our Twitter thing of what kids thing did you watch that wasn't for kids a lot.
Wizards.
Mine was RoboCop because I saw it in the theater. That's not a movie I should have seen when it came out in the theater. But yeah, so I'll let you guys decide what movie we watch for 80s there. It'll be sort of like when we did shitty movies with Alex and Anna before they had their kid. We watched wonders like Masters of the Universe, which own on Blu-ray just in case.
Well, guys, our time is up. We went through a whole episode, got everything going. We will not be on the air next week.
I noticed you two declined to give ratings to Beastmaster. Feel free to give it a great
Oh,
rating.
okay. Nostalgia, it's like a 1. But looking back on it, it's like a 4 or 5.
Oh, it's so not a 5. I feel like 3
Yeah.
is fair.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the unpopular person and go with a 2.
Fine. I mean,
So,
Legion is the same rating.
yeah.
We just changed it so we're doing our own thing. Shh, don't tell anyone. Sure.
Kroll is also on the list too, Banyan. Kroll and Lady Hawk are on the list for Mizzy to watch.
Sure, we crawl better than Beastmaster. Sorry, not sorry.
We'll see.
Okay.
It's all a matter of opinion.
Kodo and Poto are great. Kodo and Poto are fucking my favorite.
That's fair.
Guys,
Anyway.
we gotta get out of here. We're gonna send you off to the Pyro Club, of course. They'll doing some D&D.
Oh, I'm sure they'll be on break.
They'll probably be on break with us being on lateness.
They started late too, so probably
Yeah.
Maybe.
So
there were technical difficulties.
please take care of yourself. Please look after each other. Please look after your friend, even the ones that are the happy ones. If you see something, say something. If you can do something, do something. If you can't, find someone that will. For More Than Dice, I'm Gonzo.
I'm John.
I'm Captain Busy.
Good night.
No.
No, Badion. No.
I mean, so here's the thing. It does have some horror vibes. That could be an interesting movie.
I couldn't make it through his remake of what the hell was it? Monsters.